Welcome to the Rachel and Candy Project. In this video, we will show you a modern-day interpretation of Lady Macbeth's infamous soliloquy from Act 1, Scene 5 of Macbeth, one of William Shakespeare's most well-known plays. This speech illustrates some important themes in Macbeth, especially concerning masculinity, ambition, and guilt.
In this speech, Lady Macbeth is making the decision to convince her husband to murder Duncan, the King of Scotland. She wants to be unfeeling, have no pity, and ultimately shed her feminine nature.
But we'll get into that later. Now, on to the soliloquy. If you have the play in front of you, you can follow along with our translation in Act 1, Scene 5, lines 38 through 54.
The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under the battlements.
The messenger is hoarse, like the bird of the battlefield, announcing the king's fatal entrance to our home.
Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here.
Come, you spirits that channel deadly thoughts, remove my feminine nature.
And fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty.
And fill me from head to toe with urgent cruelty.
Make me cold-blooded, close up any vein of pity.
Make thick my blood, stop the access and passage to remorse.
That no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it.
So that remorse does not interfere with my murderous intentions.
Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers.
Come to my breasts and exchange my milk with malice, you killing agents.
Wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief.
Wherever your invisible spirit lies, you aid the wickedness of human nature.
Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound. That my keen knife see not the wound it makes.
Come, heavy night, and surround me in the darkest smoke of hell, so that my sharp knife cannot see the cut it inflicts.
Nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold.
And neither can heaven look down through the darkness and scream, stop, stop. Whew, intense, right?
Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts.
Lady Macbeth is calling out to spirits that have inspired her evil thoughts, possibly referring to the weird sisters that Macbeth wrote about in his letter to her.
Macbeth received the prophecy from the witches, and they both accept it without question. Lady Macbeth is fully embracing what she sees as an impending promotion. There is a tension of fate versus free will occurring. They readily accept the prophecy, which is apparent due to his urgent letter to her. Her request,
fill me from head to toe with urgent cruelty,
is an indication of her intentional activity to bring the prophecy to pass.
In terms of ambition, from this soliloquy, we can see that it is Lady Macbeth who is the driving force behind killing Duncan. In Shakespeare's plays, it is often the men who desire power, and the male characters are usually the most ambitious and the most willing to do corrupt things for gain. But in the first half of Macbeth, it is a different story. Macbeth is uncertain, and he wavers often with what he wants to do, but Lady Macbeth is resolved.
Consider some of Shakespeare's other female characters. Portia, of Merchant of Venice, exhibits ingenuity. Viola, of Twelfth Night, embodies strength and also borrows masculinity. Maria, also of Twelfth Night, has cunning with a little bit of a mean streak. Individually, these women are insightful observations of the facets of femininity. Together, however,
they make a lethal combination.
Her whole speech reflects darkness, both spiritually and symbolically. Lady Macbeth opens her thoughts comparing the messenger to a raven, saying,
the raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements.
This bird is often associated with battle and death because of its scavenger nature. Then later,
come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes.
She invokes the night to hide her actions and summons the smoke of hell to do the same. Avoiding the gaze of heaven occupies her thoughts even before the murder takes place.
One of the first references to blood in the play is when she says,
make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse,
requesting that her blood be thickened to prevent pity thwarting her attempts. Lady Macbeth incites her blood to give her courage and power. Little does she realize how blood will come to haunt both her and her husband. The blood of their victims will not leave their minds and will continue to plague them with guilt.
For this very first murder, Lady Macbeth is not concerned with guilt. She believes that she will feel no guilt for this deed because she is making herself like a man, which again ties into her views of manhood. However, preemptive shame is evident in her appeal.
Nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold.
Lady Macbeth recognizes that what she is doing is wrong. She is ashamed for heaven to see, but continues ahead anyway.
When she implores,
come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall.
She is asking to exchange her milk for nerve. The mention of her breasts and breast milk serve as symbols for nurture and compassion, things that she wants to be rid of. Lady Macbeth views masculinity as the personification of ambition without remorse. And not only ambition, but aggression as well. She believes that her womanly nature would stop her from being a murderer, and that men can murder without a care.
This stems from a social norm that men are figures of authority. Because women are not given the opportunity to govern, her only model for power is in the masculine. We know that her view is skewed because Macbeth is having a great deal of trouble with the idea of killing. Because of her misconceptions about masculinity and inherent dominance, Lady Macbeth could be perceived as an anti-feminist character. She wants to forsake her femininity instead of own it. Shakespeare's women are usually strong, but it is interesting that she is almost too much so.
When Lady Macbeth asks the spirits to unsex her, she is making a statement about how she feels about masculinity and femininity. The statement is also about taking away more than her womanhood. It's about becoming something other, which she thinks is better, but the audience knows is worse. This aspiration is also reflected in her desire for the spirits to possess her. In an effort to be successful in her ambitions without regret, she wants to be stripped of her humanity. Thank you.